The ovenbird is a small songbird of the New World warbler family. This migratory bird breeds in eastern North America and winters in Central America, many Caribbean islands, Florida, and northern Venezuela. Taxonomy. The genus Sciurus is currently treated as monotypic, containing only the ovenbird. It is genetically distinct from all other species in the family Parulidae, probably the first genus to evolve separately from the rest of the family. Before the recent genetic studies were carried out, the water thrushes were also included in Sciurus. These are now treated separately in the genus Parkesia as they are not very closely related to the ovenbird. The species name Orocapilla is a noun phrase, so the original spelling is retained, not changed according to the gender of the genus name. Linnaeus originally named it Motacilla Orocapilla, and the ending is not changed to as commonly cited in the past. Etymologically, Orocapilla comes from Latin and means golden-haired, and Sciurus is from ancient Greek scio, to shake, and urus, tail. Description. Ovenbirds are large wood warblers and is sometimes confused by the untrained for a thrush. Adults measure 11 to 16 centimeters long and span 19 to 26 centimeters across the wings. They weigh 19 grams on average, with a range of 14 to 28.8 grams. Amongst standard measurements, the wing chord is 6.8 to 8.3 centimeters, the tail is 5 to 5.8 centimeters, the bill is 1.1 to 1.3 centimeters, and the tarsus is 2 to 2.3 centimeters. They tend to be heavier in winter and particularly at the start of the migration. They have olive-brown upper parts and white underparts heavily streaked with black. The flanks have an olive hue. A white ring surrounds the eyes, and a black stripe runs below the cheek. They have a line of orange feathers with olive-green tips running along the top of the head, bordered on each side with blackish-brown. The orange feathers can be erected to form a small crest. The eyes and the upper part of the thin pointed beak are dark, while the lower beak is horn-colored and the legs and feet are pinkish. Males and females look alike. Immature birds have tawny fringes to the tertiary remiges and sometimes buff-tipped outer primary wing covers. Most conspicuously, the olive-green tips of the crown feathers, which are hardly visible in adult birds, are far larger in extent in immatures and cover the orange crown stripe almost completely. The main song of the ovenbird is a series of strident, relatively low-pitched, bisyllabic motives repeated without pause about 8 times and increasing in volume. Usually, the second syllable in each motive is sharply accented. Chirty, 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 chirty. Male ovenbirds utter a sweet chattering song in the arid twilight after the manner of the skylark, incorporating portions of the main song into a jumble of sputtering notes and mimicry as they dive back to earth. The call is a variably pitched, sharp chick. Some variations recall the common call note of a downy woodpecker. If the bird is excited, it may repeat this call several times. The fight call is a high, rising C. Range and ecology. The breeding habitats are mature deciduous and mixed forests, especially sites with little undergrowth, across Canada and the eastern United States. For foraging, it prefers woodland with abundant undergrowth of shrubs. Essentially, it thrives best in a mix of primary and secondary forest. Ovenbirds migrate to the southeastern United States, the Caribbean, and from Mexico to northern South America. The birds are territorial all year round, occurring either singly or as mated pairs, for a short time accompanied by the young. During migration, they tend to travel in larger groups, however, dispersing again once they reach the destination. In winter, they dwell mainly in lowlands, but may ascend up to 1,500 meters ASLE. In Costa Rica, The first migrants leave in late August and appear on the wintering grounds as early as September, with successive waves arriving until late October or so. They depart again to breed between late March and early May, arriving on the breeding grounds throughout April and May. Migration times do not seem to have changed much over the course of the 20th century. This bird seems just capable of crossing the Atlantic, as there have been a handful of records in Norway, Ireland and Great Britain. However, half of the 6 finds were of dead birds. A live ovenbird on St. Mary's, Isles of Scilly in October 2004 was in bad condition, and died despite being taken into care. Ovenbirds forage on the ground in dead leaves, sometimes hovering or catching insects in flight. This bird frequently tilts its tail up and bobs its head while walking. At rest, the tail may be flicked up and slowly lowered again, and alarmed birds flick the tail frequently from a half-raised position. These birds mainly eat terrestrial arthropods and snails, and also include fruit in the diet during winter. The nest, referred to as the oven, is a domed structure placed on the ground, woven from vegetation, and containing a side entrance. Both parents feed the young birds. The placement of the nest on the ground makes predation by chipmunks a greater concern than for tree nesting birds. Chipmunks have been known to burrow directly into the nest to eat the young birds. The ovenbird is vulnerable to nest parasitism by the brown-headed cowbird, which is becoming more plentiful in some areas. However, the ovenbird's numbers appear to be remaining stable. Altogether, it is not considered a threatened species by the IUCN.